Hey guys, what is going on? Shaquan here from SLFX Trading, and I am doing a video on when a currency pair or trade idea invalidates itself or basically tells you not to push the button to execute a trade. A lot of times you'll see videos on how to enter a trade, how to see a trade idea, but not really a lot of videos that tells you to sit on your hands. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, okay? Now, every single week I come to the charts. I do teeter totter with, should I trade this many pairs, that many pairs, but I try to focus more on my setups with currency pairs, right? Now, I am a swing trader. I do sometimes dabble in day trading. I've been doing that for the past 2 weeks. I've been doing pretty well in that too. Learning a lot of lessons with style drifting. That's what one of my friends calls it, style drifting. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's just knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them. But let's go ahead and get into the video. So, if you follow me here on TradingView or if you follow me on YouTube, then you know that New Zealand dollar was one of the currency pairs that I was looking at early in the week. Okay. Now, um, so I was looking at this area here around 0.71783, and I was hoping that price could go a little bit lower because if you understand multiple time frame analysis, if you look on that weekly time frame, and you will see that there was a beautiful weekly candle that says, hey, this week we can get some selling pressure. So then when you drop down to the daily, then the 4 hour, which is where I end my swing trading analysis, if you drop down to that one particular time frame, that time frame said, this time frame says, yeah, we could potentially be going down. So this was the candle that I entered my sell on the 4 hour. It came up to the previous lows. I was hoping it could go down a little bit further, but it did not. So when I saw that price passed 0.71783, which on the 4 hour, hear me well, on the 4 hour was the very last lower high on the 4 hour, I said I would stop being a seller and maybe price wants to go back up, right? So then this is where you want rules to be met for the upside. Now, this is the area right here. I did not take this trade, but what I started to see was, okay, since price made a new higher high on the 4 hour, now I have to question if price is really wanting to go back up to the upside. And only besides this area, there was nothing else backing that information up. And so I did not feel comfortable executing a buy to the upside. Now, as you guys can see, price has dropped. Okay. So let's go over why the sales on New Zealand dollar did not come through at first. Number one, we did make a new low, which was great, which said Shaquan, the sellers are in the game. But when the buyers came in the game, that's when price pushed above this past lower high, made a higher high. That's when the buyers said, we're here, but the buyers can't sustain right now. Now, this is how I know I may not want to keep being the buyer. If price passes 0.71303, because if it does, it creates a lower low, and that goes back to my original selling position based on the weekly time frame that New Zealand dollar may be ready to sell off. Maybe is the key word, okay? Potentially is the key word. So we have to see what's going to happen today. If price can stay above 0.71303, then yeah, the buyers may be able to come back into the market. But because it's the lowest low, if price passes it, 0.71940 on the 4 hour would have been a false breakout to trick us, right? And then yeah, price could drop. Let's go to New Zealand dollar JPY. Same scenario here, you guys. So as you guys can see, price was creeping up on the left here. This is called high volatility, or price where, when people say, oh, to the moon, this is what that looks like, okay? Price just skyrockets up. There's no deep pullbacks, okay? This is very good for day traders and scalpers to trade because price has movement. It has a short burst of sparks of flames. This is a day traders and scalpers dream right here, okay? Now, as you guys can see, this was the last push up at 81.844 Japanese yen. Price drops down to 81.26 Japanese yen, comes back up to 81.93 yen. And in the beginning of the week, this is on Friday. So when I analyze this, I'm like, okay, if price can stay below 81.93, which is the last lower high on the 4 hour, I would take a sell. Notice how I'm saying it needs to do something. It needs to stay below, not above, but below. But then what did price do, you guys? Price came and pushed above that number. Immediately that says do not be a seller, become a buyer. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to buy immediately right here. No, rules have to be met. Now I need to see if price can stay above 80.998. When we trade, we're trading exchange rates. We're trading supply and demand. Who wants one currency over the other? Or when it comes to the Japanese yen, remember, when we trade this, we're trading the exchange rate of how much will it cost people in Japan to buy one New Zealand dollar, right? Um, and they want to buy at discounts. We need to buy at a discount. If price is to continue to go back up, potentially back up to 82.10, we need to see price stay above this number, because if price declines today below this number, this would have been a false breakout. But once again, going from the weekly, daily, 4 hour, we will see that there's selling pressure on the weekly time frame. Okay. So with that being said, we need to see what's going to happen today. It looks like these New Zealanders have some push down. Let's go back to New Zealand dollar. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, dealing with New Zealand dollar, I want to show you guys. I just looked at two base New Zealand dollar pairs, which means New Zealand comes first. But what happens when the New Zealand dollar comes second within a pair? Let's go to Euro New Zealand dollar. Now, this one is what I'm looking at today. This one could potentially have legs to the downside. Okay. So earlier this week, I put something out on TradingView and YouTube about Euro New Zealand dollar. Okay. And if you are on my subscribers list through my website, then you guys, I sent out a few trade alerts. Okay. So as you guys can see, this was last week. Price made a lower low. Oh, sorry, a lower high, lower low, higher high. Right? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you made a higher high. Let's see if you can stay above 161s. And then it did push up to 163s. Now, I was hoping that price at this point in time could stay above this higher low here at 161.95 on the 4 hour. But look what price did. It toppled down. In a moment, price went past 161, says don't be a buyer, because price just passed the number you need price to stay above. You guys, this is why understanding trend and specifying yourself as a trend trader, understanding counter trends, and understanding what a counter trend looks like is very important. As you guys can see, price went past and went to 161s. So even though price was trending higher high, higher low, higher high, I was looking for a higher low. That has not happened. Price made a lower low. So now what I'm thinking in my head is, okay, if for Euro New Zealand dollar, price can stay below. Listen how I'm saying this, you guys, because we have a lower low, which means the seller still has some control here. If price can stay below 163.083s, which means the structures that you trade have to go below that number, right? Anytime you're trading something in the market, if you say that, okay, well, price is here and I want to see if it can come back to here, it needs to stay below a certain number or above a certain exchange rate, okay? And that's what I'm looking for here with my technique, supply and demand, using my estimation zones. If price can stay below 1.63083, I will be more inclined to take a sell back down to 1.61550. I will enter this on the 4 hour, but I need to see how we're going to close at 9 o'clock a.m. for this one. I want to be a little bit conservative here. Normally, I would be more aggressive and wait for the 30-minute time frame, but because of what's going on with New Zealand dollar, New Zealand JPY, there are other pairs too that's doing this exact same thing, especially on the Aussie dollar pairs, the Euro pairs. I want to be a little bit more cautious here today and trade my 4 hour time frame today. I'm not dropping down any more than that today. Okay. And see if I can get me a really nice clean entry back to the downside. But if price goes above this number, not the zone, hey, price has room, you guys. Price can come and test all the way up to this 50 pips as long as we don't go above that number, like it has 50 pips to test, right? If she could just stay below this exchange rate, I'll sell. So as you guys are listening, I'm hoping that you understand, like, as I'm speaking out, what I would like to see. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to stop there and not trade it. And you have to get to the point, if this is you and you're like, Shaquan, I just don't know when to stop. Speak out your rules out loud. Do you hear how I'm speaking them out? Speak them out loud. Express what you would like to see. And if you do not see that, stop there and don't move. Don't do anything. Don't rush the trade, okay? So I hope y'all like my TED Talk. My little mini series on how what to do and what it looks like when your trade does not come through. I'll talk to you guys in another video.